I've got to manage myself, I've got to manage my mind. The task is not easy, but to higher heights I climb.
I'm determined to succeed, so no excuses, please. If you don't want success in life, then don't hinder me. Yes, let the whole world know you are a CEO. You are a CEO. I'm a CEO. You are a CEO. I'm a CEO. The time is here to celebrate. You are a CEO. You are a CEO. You are a CEO. You are a CEO. Yes, let the whole world know. The time is here to celebrate. Yes, it's calling, so don't be late. You are a CEO.
Hello, everyone. Michael E. Parker here for another exciting show. This is CEO TV Live, and we are talking tonight about the affiliate launch. And so as you can see on the screen, as promised, we're going to wrap up a series that we've been going over the past few weeks and give you some details about the affiliate launch. Now, I want you to understand, I am so excited that we have a program where not only are we able to reach more people with all of the truth and ideas and solutions of You Are CEO, but we can also help people create their own economy and help them begin to live better lives. And one thing about it, there's a lot going on in the world, and so I pray for safety for you and yours. Whatever's going on right now and all the different things that we are dealing with, there's one thing that remains true. We all want to be successful. We all want to see our families better. We all want a better life, and we all want to be the best version of ourselves. And this is why I'm so excited about our affiliate program, because this is a chance where not only can we generate some more income, but we actually are doing something that is actually making a difference. Because when we get people that is able to actually overcome some of the things in them that hold them back, press past limitations to be more successful, that is something that no matter where you place it, no matter what human being you put it in, it will accelerate success and it will make things better. That's why I always say we're helping to change the world by changing our world. Now, having said that, I want to go into a few things and remind you of a few things, because if you remember, over the past few shows, we've been going over a process. So I want to put this up on the screen for you. So when you read this from left to right, we've been going through an entire process. And I'm going to talk more about that later, but we went through how, as an affiliate in this system that we're launching, how you can share, and that affiliate link will send people to custom welcome pages, custom landing pages. They can hear webinars, and then eventually expose them to the different offerings that we have, and then taking them through a distinct line of thought where they can say, if I want to be a club member, this is what happens. If I'm going to be an affiliate member, this is what happens. And if I want to take the 14-day trial, this is what happens. And they get a personal thank you from me. And all throughout that whole system, we talked about how all of it comes together to create one experience. And at the end of it, we begin to onboard them to what we called, and went over in our last show, the success profile. And so, again, this whole process, I hope you understand it better now. From beginning to end, we took our time and we walked through this. But I want you to know something about what that was really all about. Now, when you think about all of those steps and all of those different parts of that, what we really have come to is the importance of a system. And so I want to talk a little bit about the importance of a system. And so I'm going to walk over here to the whiteboard and switch gears a little bit. I want to talk to you about the importance of a system, because a system is very critical to the success of any business. And when we think about a system, we think about something that's repeatable. We think about something that can have consistency. We think about something that can create a pattern. And we want to create a pattern of how we get out to real people, touch their lives, and then create a system for generating income, both for ourselves and those that we touch. When we think about a system, some of the main things that it always involves is there's always an input into that system. And then it goes into some sort of process. So when we think about an input, we think about a process, and then there's always some sort of output. So again, when we think systematically and we begin to consider what am I going to put into this process and what is going to generate or be generated from that process, this is the foundation of a system. So again, we talked a lot about a process when we said understanding the process, but again, what we're really getting to is a system. So when we think about a system specifically, and some of the things that we talked about on the input side, we talked about how we can use affiliate links, for example, right? And we use our affiliate links, and those affiliate links are then able to be sent to someone. And when they're sent to someone, they are able to then go into a process. And so that process, again, we talked about a lot of the angles of this process and how this really involved a funnel. And we talked about different elements of that funnel and how we bring them into a welcome and then into a landing page and a webinar and then into an experience of understanding what URCL has to offer. And they just keep going through that funnel. Well, that is a process. And this is so important because this is the hard part. The process is the hard part. And this is why we want to, what you call automate. We want to automate the process. In other words, make it automatic, something that happens on its own. So we put the inputs in, right? We touch people and connect with people and send them to the automated process. And then the output is, of course, we talked about all the different angles of how someone can become a member and they can begin to understand how to build a relationship with URCL. So this, again, is in essence what we went over. Now, when you think about systems and you think about different types of businesses, every business has an underlying system that's very important. Now, I want to just take a minute. Let's talk about, I'm going to use an example that's not good for health, but it's something that we all understand. So I'm not telling you go eat at McDonald's. I just want to talk about McDonald's for a minute as a business. And this business goes way back and has been very successful no matter how you think about McDonald's. But you know, if I asked you, what is the system behind McDonald's, the core system behind McDonald's, and what is the core focus? I want you to really consider when you think about McDonald's, really, we all know that McDonald's is really a fast food business. We all know that. It's a fast food business. And no doubt there are some systems related to how they deliver fast food. And there's definitely a powerful process. That's why people can buy franchises or what have you. But the core system behind McDonald's is actually a real estate system. And most people don't know that, but they have a specific system of how to find locations in the right price points and in the right way to make sure that that particular location will work for the process and generate the income and the value that will cause a franchisee to be successful. And without that, none of the other systems matter. So most businesses always have a core system that you can go back to make sure that the business model stays strong. And so that's what we're doing here at URCO. We're getting to that core system, that core foundation that is critical to where we're going. Let's do one more of these. What about Amazon? Now, Amazon is another one. Now, we know Amazon is another business that we are aware of. Now, we know with Amazon that is definitely something. And let me come over here where I got some more whiteboard space here with Amazon. Now, when we think about Amazon, you know, is definitely a business that we all know about and we all associate it with buying things, you know, for the most part. So really, we think about the fact that they are an online retailer. So when we think about an online retailer, they're the biggest online retailer, just about in the world. And then we all know how Amazon has spread, its tentacles in almost every area of business. All right. But their core system is really a logistics system. So logistics has to do with how you actually take products, organize the shipment and delivery of products. So they've got a profound logistics system from the point that you order to the point it shows up at your door. That's logistics. And there are lead times involved, and there are specific things that they have to measure. All of their trucks that go all around the world and coordinating deliveries and making sure that each one of those trucks are cubically efficient and have as much space taken up as possible so that they're not wasting as they go back and forth between areas and locations. All of that is a system. And it is that system, once that system is built, it doesn't matter what's on the conveyor belt. We can ship shampoo, we can ship, a screwdriver, we can ship something that is a video game, we can ship a book. It doesn't matter because that system will always take it to whatever the destination is. And once they got that strong, they can put anything in that system and allow it to carry it there. So when you think about what we're doing, my point is, when you think about what we're doing, we really want to build a system of helping people get onboarded into a lifestyle of success through You Are a CEO. We know how important it is to have a platform like You Are a CEO, but we've got to have a system because, what we're doing is not easy to explain. No one's done it before. You say, well, what's the product? The product is your success. The product is being more successful. The product is changing how you think. The product is achieving more and accelerating everything that you do, becoming the best version of yourself. How do you tell someone about that? So this is why we have to build a system for how we explain this idea and how we compel them to give it a try, and then how we keep them once they're on the inside so that they then fully embrace the values that will actually make them better and allow them to achieve and actually have a chance to improve their financial position. This is what it is all about. So this is, again, something I want you to keep in mind when we talk about this approach. So everything we've been going over is important because it's going to be an underlying foundation that we can use now to really begin to help all of us unite around how we go out and impact the world in the most positive way. So keep that in mind as we go forward. Now, I want to go back over and I want to talk about a few things. I'm going to step back over to my presentation. Now, when you think about all the things that's been going on, I want to talk to you about, if you really realize what's been going on over the past few weeks, we are definitely on the move. So I want to walk you through a little timeline here that you see on the screen. Now, if you remember, back on May 11th, we went over, we had a show called It's Time to Run. And we told everyone to lace their shoes up. It's time to go. It's time to move. It's time to get ready. And we came right out of the pandemic and all that was going on. And we said, we're not going to let that stop the movement that we set out to build all these past months and all the efforts over the years to strengthen what we're about to do. And we brought all of that back into our remembrance on May 11th. And then, if you remember, on May 18th, we had the Club of Success. And we talked about the Club of Success. We saw how we are going to begin to welcome someone to the club. And then we went through that Success Club webinar where you heard from me how to break down, how to really help someone understand the value of the Success Club. And we went through all those key 3 areas about raising your success IQ, being an individual that's in an environment of success, and then being around successful people and how you put that together to really create something that can help people in their life. And then we went into May 25th. And we talked about how the digital wealth engine is here. And we went into the welcome for the digital wealth engine and then into the webinar for the digital wealth engine. We talked about how technology has changed the game, how we're doing something different, how now it's time to really have something that is down to the click. If you can send a text message, you can use our system. We talked about the digital age, a digital time, a digital product, a digital system. And with that, It makes things different than any other way that we've done business before, and how we can then generate real income using that system. Then we went on June 1st and we had a show called When Success Begins. And we went and kind of closed out all the remaining elements of that process leading up to the breakthrough success profile that will be launching in the coming weeks, and how that will lead to the onboarding needed as people begin to land into the Success Club. So now here we are today. And this begins to close out that timeline. It is June 8th, and this is the affiliate launch, and it is time now to have clear direction of what we need to do. And we've been taking, now you know, normally our shows, we talk a lot about things that improve our success IQ, improve our careers, improve us as entrepreneurs. But we had to stop in the month of May and even into June to give some time to this affiliate system. And the reason is we want more people to know about what we're doing. And it's the affiliates that's going to be the soldiers that will help to spread the word. So we've given some shows, specifically about this. And so as we move into the rest of June, there's some specific things that we want to do. But now, before I go further, I want to invite a special guest who you all know and love, Miss LaShawna Jackson, who has done so much with our affiliates, so much to help a lot of those out there who want to understand what we're doing and what's going on. I have her here live in studio, and so I'm going to welcome her up. Come on in, LaShawna.
Hi.
How you doing?
Good.
It's good to see you.
Good to see you.
So here we are in studio, and I want to, LaShawna, when you see all of the things that we talked about and the timeline, everything we went over, how do you feel when you think about, this just seemed like it just went by, but how do you feel about what we've accomplished recently?
Well, we've accomplished some great things recently. As you mentioned, starting at the beginning of May up until tonight, what I really like about this whole timeline of us being on the move is that we are making sure to set up the affiliates for this digital opportunity that you talked about on the whiteboard.
Right.
So this has been outstanding. The Success Club, talking about how you get club members in, telling them a little bit about what the club is about, the digital wealth engine, as you mentioned, and then When Success Begins. And so tonight, as you said, June 8th, is time for the launch. It's time for us to get on the move and let more people know about coming into an environment that can change their life.
Absolutely. I appreciate you talking about that because, I know you've been on the ground floor and you've talked to a lot of our affiliates.
Sure.
And a lot of our affiliates, a lot of them have been saying, when can I run? I just want to run. I'm ready to go. And we always are saying, we're about to do this. We're about to. And now you can tell we've got that momentum and it's time to move. How excited are you that now we're going to kind of pull the gate open and let people run?
Oh, you couldn't hear it. That was my excitement. My excitement.
All right, that was next level. That was
my excitement. But I'm so excited because the affiliates, they've been waiting, but while they've been waiting, they've been training. So this is what's key. They are ready. When we open the gate, there are so many affiliates that are actually ready to send those text messages that we talked about over the past few trainings. They have some of them actually have a database of people that they've had waiting. Right. And they just are ready to launch now. And so as soon as we open up this gate, what I like the most about this is the amount of people we're going to impact, the amount of people that we're going to change their life personally, professionally, and also because we are getting ready to expose people to a digital system, a digital wealth system, when in today's, what's happening now, everyone needs another way to make some income. Right. And so this is a way you make income by improving yourself, as you mentioned. So I'm really happy, and I know the affiliates are excited about this.
Absolutely. Let me ask you, that was very well said. And let me ask you one more thing before we kind of share more about what we all need to do and more about this affiliate launch. Now, I know you had a background where you've done a lot in affiliate, network marketing, all kinds of things. You go way back into, different products and different systems and solutions. Yeah. What feels different about this? How does it feel for a person like you that did do the house parties and did talk to people? You're a people person. Sure. You're not afraid to talk to people. I've seen you, engage in how you interact. How does it feel to be moving from that age to an age where now we're dealing with something that's digital and so much easier to bring people into? Tell me a little bit about the transition and what that feels like.
Sure. Well, I'll be honest. Initially, it was a hard concept to grasp because in direct sales, it is that face-to-face contact. So it took a little bit to make the transition, but once I clicked in my mind that the opportunity that we're presenting is not limited to your geographical area. That's what I think excited me personally the most. As you mentioned about being a part of other opportunities, I was limited to where I lived, if you will, and maybe a little bit further, right? But this has a global impact, and that's what excites me the most, because I can actually, as an affiliate, they can impact people's lives across the oceans and bring them into an opportunity and an environment that changes their lives. Then they can change their families' lives and their communities. So this is I've never seen anything like this. I'm happy that, as you said, the ground floor, I just have never seen anything like this. And so when other affiliates and people that have done direct sales in the past, when they really understand this and they understand it's simply on your phone. You simply send a link. You tell someone your story. This is key as they begin to bring in affiliates. You have to understand the angles of your story. Which angle do you want to tell? And then as soon as you meet someone, you just tell that angle. That brings them in, as you mentioned, to the system. The system begins to do some work for you. But what you led them in with is an actual authentic transition that happened to you. No one can deny that. And so the Success Club made a change in me. I raised my success IQ. I overcame some fear. I became more self-empowered. I strove for excellence. So all of these things that people around the world are not talking about. So this is what's really exciting for me, because again, it's the global impact that I'm happy that people are going to be exposed to.
And speaking of global impact, already, you are a CEO. There are people that already are associated with us. That's in Africa, that's in Israel, that's in Australia, that's in Puerto Rico, and more. And so the fact that this product is digital, as you said, and I don't need to come to your house and do that house party, which would limit how many people we can touch, is so exciting. And that's why, again, not only is it an opportunity to reach more people, but it's also an opportunity to generate more income for all of us, which all of us need.
We all need, absolutely.
So let's go a little bit further into this. So I'm gonna ask that you stay here and let's talk a little bit about, this is something I wanna discuss. Start today to run tomorrow. Now, I want all of you out there to take a look at this, because over the next 5 weeks, yes, we can launch, yes, we're on the move, but we are gonna tighten everything up over the next 5 weeks while you're running. You can start today, but we're gonna run tomorrow. What do I mean by that? We're gonna get everything tight and strong, and I wanna make sure that all of you are prepared of what we want you to do going forward. So when you think about going forward, you think about getting ready, I'm gonna give you some distinct things that I want you to do over the next 5 weeks. And while you're doing that, we're gonna be supporting you and helping you and tightening up any loose ends to make sure the system is strong. We can use it now, but we're going to tighten it up. And then by the time we get through this 5 weeks together, while we're kind of starting and walking, then we're going to pick up the pace. And let me explain what I mean. So let's walk through this. So over the next 5 weeks, this is what we want you to do. Use the product. So you've got to use the product. We don't want, you can't talk about the product and you don't use it. I'm going to go through these, LaShawn. I want to, get you to comment on some of this. The next thing we want you to do is share links. So learn how to go to your share center, copy links, and share them with others. You can text people, you can email people, you can also copy links and share it online. Practice how to do that. And actually, you want to start thinking, like, how many times did I do that over the next 5 weeks? Not so much how many people signed up, how many people did I get. That's not important. Use the product and just share the links. That's all we want you to do. Get the behavior. Talk to people. So don't worry about whether or not they signed up or they want to join. Just talk to people on the phone, by text message, by email. Talk to a few people and go through the exercise. See what it feels like to actually talk to someone, explaining what this is about and inviting them to be a part. And then last but not least, when you get toward the end of that 5 weeks, I want you to focus on finalizing your approach. After you went in and you did those things, you should learn some things that worked well and some things that didn't work so well. And you can start saying, I'm going to keep this and I'm going to get rid of that. And that will bring us to July 15th And when we get to July 15th, we are going to pick up the pace and we're going to begin to run together. We're going to have a special show on that day, and I want you to be ready for it. So, LaShawna, let's talk about what I've introduced here.
Sure.
Now, this is, again, getting down into the nitty-gritty of things that would need to be done. What do you say about this that I presented over the next 5 weeks, what we should be doing?
So I like what you mentioned. Over the next 5 weeks, use the product. So that's key. So get in, make sure you download Uplift. You make sure you download the Your SEO app. Share the links. So you want to make sure that you are an affiliate. You want to be able to share those links. And then what I would suggest is practicing with some friends. So practicing in the text, the email to your family first. Make sure that that they receive the text. Go through that process. Use this as a testing time as well. And then when you're talking to people, use your family again. Use your friends, your coworkers, those that you can kind of tell that you're kind of going through this. But again, so that way you're fine-tuning the final approach. And so you're getting to what works well, what might need a little bit of tweaking later on. But I would simply suggest that when you're sharing the links, you also, when you get to talk to people, look for those groups that that are online, because again, this is a digital product. So you can do your testing with your family and friends, but don't limit yourself. Look for those groups that resonate with you, that you can tell a portion of your story to very authentically, very clearly, concisely, and then begin to have some of those links kind of lined up for them. And then as you begin to share, what you want to do is you want to make sure, if you are an affiliate, you probably took part in the webinar where Mr. Parker talked about the drip. And so what you want to do is kind of post something that tells them a little bit about your story. And then you kind of want to wait for a response. You don't want to. Now,
before you go, I really like where you're going with this. Before you go deeper into the online part, because I really like that. And sometimes people don't understand. There's this whole other world out there. They're thinking about, I don't want to talk to people. I don't want to sell nothing. And today you don't have to.
No.
Like, you literally could be at your computer or on your phone, not go talk to anyone, and simply typing and building a relationship and leading up to something. But before going, I want you to put a little bookmark right there, because I want you to pick up there. But I want to go back for a minute to something you said about talking with friends and family to kind of get things down.
Sure.
Now, I really think that's very important what you said, because sometimes until we hear ourselves describe ourselves, we don't really know how to get that smooth approach of telling our story or that compelling part. So just sometimes telling someone and asking them to give you real feedback about what part of that story compelled them, or writing something to them and saying, how did that sound? Tell me where I lost you. And then practicing using brevity and conciseness, where you're not writing a book, but you're still getting the point across. Say a little bit more about that exercise, because I think that's really important.
Sure, yeah. When you're talking to your family and your friends, it is important, as you mentioned, to get that approach down. So I like what you said. Let's say, for example, I'm going to start my approach from a single mother. And so I'm going to begin to, that's the part of my story that I feel very comfortable saying.
And passionate about.
And very passionate about. So that's one thing that's key. Make sure that you're telling the part of your story that you feel comfortable with. You don't have to tell any part of your story that you don't want to share yet, right? This is someone that, even though it's family, you're practicing in an area that feels good and comfortable. And so once you kind of go through that exercise a few times, and then, as you mentioned, ask for the feedback, make some adjustments, and make sure, I want to add this too, make sure it's a family member or a friend that really understands what you're trying to do, because you want to make sure you have someone that's in your corner that is going to be supportive of what you're doing. So,
but also honest and give you honest feedback.
Yes, give you honest feedback about, okay, this is what I would change, or I would continue to go in this direction. So I would say that with your family and friends, be sure to, again, practice. Let them know, right? Pasty, ask permission. Do you mind going through this exercise with me? Because I'm getting ready to launch my affiliate business, and I need some help. Be honest about it. I need help. I'm practicing. I'm learning. I want your honest feedback. Tell me if I lost you or if that was great. And then, as you mentioned, keep that and move on to the next one.
Yeah, and not being afraid of feedback, because the key is back to systems. When you get your system, your personal system, your system of how to tell your story, you'll find that you kind of go through a rhythm and you learn how to talk to people in a way that tends to always move them. And that's what you want to get down. I had to learn my story. Everyone has to learn that. Then you can learn several stories you have. Now, I don't have that much time, so I want to ask just one more quick thing before we hit just a few more things and wrap up. So we talked about online. Now, when we go online, it's important to not just go to some group and say, hey, everyone, join URCEO, right? So talk to just a little bit. Just give me a little 30-second overview of how to go into a new online atmosphere and introduce myself and lead up to that.
Okay, so let's say you're online, you are searching for a group and you're into gardening. And so you go on Facebook and you look for gardening groups, and then what you do is you read the feed. You kind of find out what people are talking about. If they're planning, their spring garden, some of their, so kind of basically walk in the room and see what everyone's talking about. And then look for a space to introduce yourself.
Right.
Hi, my name is LaShawna. I'm glad to be a part of this group. Thank you for approving me.
Right.
Then you continue to watch the feed because you want to, again, interject at the right time, as you mentioned.
Right.
So then when you interject a portion of your story about, you may have been gardening for 25 years, but you might want to start off with when you began to garden, because the whole feed might be talking about we're all new to gardening. So you want to interject that you could be a subject matter expert to help the new gardeners, if you will. So again, it's an approach. It's a step-by-step that you have to take online, but you'll find that when you do that right, you will open the door to so many people, because they will, when you begin to tell them about an environment that helped you in this area of your life, they're going to be much more susceptible to making sure that they want to hear more about what you have to say.
And now, through that process, when I eventually lead up to the day, now this could happen in several days, weeks, whatever, whenever you feel the time is right. But when I post that link, it's a link to hundreds of people, right? And so they might all click this link and go to that system that we were just going over. And now maybe a certain percentage of them move forward and end up doing something with us. And so that's a very, very powerful thing. So listen, these are some wonderful things. And LaShawna is one of our managers with regard to our affiliate systems and programs. And so I'm so glad to have her here with me. And I want you to look one more time at this, because this is, again, the approach. I want you to remember, for this affiliate launch, as of today, the Share Center is open. It's working. It's ready. Download the latest URCEO app. Download the latest URCEO app. Get out there. Use the product. Share the links. Talk to people. Get your story down. Finalize the approach. And we're going to be checking in with you. Make sure to attend our weekly webinars on Wednesdays. And again, by July 15th, we're going to have some special things to announce and really look at our progress and how we're doing. Now, having said that, I want you, LaShawna, to introduce our next Wednesday webinar. So speaking of that, can you say a little bit about our next webinar?
Sure. Our next webinar this Wednesday, June 10th at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, the power of the Share Center. So this is going to be amazing. We're going to have a special guest on, the power of the Share Center affiliate webinar, June 10th at 7 o'clock Pacific Standard Time.
All right. And I'm looking forward to that. And as was mentioned, we have a special guest that's going to be coming on who's deep into our product all the time. And he's going to be talking about a lot of things that you want to glean from as an affiliate. Listen, if you learn how to use that Share Center, you can make a lot of money. That Share Center is very important. There's a lot of technology in that little thing called Share Center. We're going to talk about it, how it works, and some details. So make sure you are there again. And so when you see this online, make sure that you go and you register, because you have to register to get into these webinars. They are private webinars in a private Zoom group. So you have to register. So make sure you do that. All right. Last but not least, I want to tell you about our next show. Our next show next week, June 15th at 7 o'clock, is the Science of Uplift. And we're going to talk about some deep matters. We know Uplift is all about mind fitness, and there's a science behind this particular app, this particular social network, this particular tool, and we're going to talk about how all of that works. So don't miss that show at 7 o'clock next week, because you will learn a greater depth of how we use Uplift to enter into the science of remaining uplifted no matter what comes our way in this thing we call life. I want to thank you for attending tonight, and I'm going to let LaShawna tell them, until now and then,
get out there and let the whole world know that you are a CEO.
Well done. Thank you. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Yes, let the whole world know. A CEO. You are a CEO. I'm a CEO. You are a CEO. I'm a CEO. The time is here to celebrate. You are a CEO. You are a CEO.
you.